I'm gonna lose my mind. Welcome to Gears of War, a game known for its amazing combat, brilliant weapon designs, and for having one of the rarest achievements available in an Xbox exclusive game. And fortunately for me, an arguably more difficult but more realistic option. The Commando achievement is an accomplishment which has been documented already on YouTube. A lot. Which is why I decided to throw away 8.5 hours of footage of me getting this achievement 6 months ago and do it all again. But much, much worse. By limiting our weapon choice to 2 weapons with the combined firepower of a wrist rocket, I aim to push myself closer to the brink of insanity as I attempt to beat Gears of War's hardest difficulty using only pistols. The game starts with the main protagonist, Marcus Phoenix, being broken out of prison by his absolute bestie, Dom, which is where the game gives you the perception of free will. You can either do the tutorial and die in an embarrassing way as you're taught how to play the game, or you can have all the confidence in the world and die a man. Which is the option I chose, because I am, of course, a man. Rip my ass, Jack. I'm your little sub baby. Anyway, the decision to take on optional enemies at this point in the game seemed like a great idea at the time, but actually being in this battle made me realise this entire challenge was probably a bigger mistake than the people of Troy accepting the gift of a massive f***ing wooden horse. Because that guy seems focused on Dom. Dom is dead. Oh, I am dead. What the Okay, this is a horrible idea, chat. Dom is slowly dying, but, you know, that's his own problem right now. Ooh, okay, right, we got him. Having successfully killed a massive 2 enemies, we've discovered a huge problem in that defeating those 2 enemies took a total of 55 bullets. So with a maximum ammo capacity of 72 bullets, the Snub Pistol can comfortably kill a grand total of 2.6 enemies. So, I bet you're wondering, what do we do once we've run out of ammo? Oh, get absolutely shafted, buddy. Yeah, get railed, my dude. Let's go! With Marcus's experience in beating meat for the past 4 years finally coming to use, him and Dom escape the prison where we're introduced to Delta Team, comprised of yourself, Dom, Kim, and Carmine. We're also introduced to Colonel Hoffman, but he's a complete ass and has no redeeming factors. Delta Squad are tasked with locating and collecting a resonator, which can be used to map out the Locust tunnels. The only issue with this is that it was with Alpha Team, and they've, seen better days. What do you mean possible, man? I see corpses. They are dead. But before we can even worry about Alpha Team, we have some more pressing matters to attend to, like spending some time in this beautiful museum and seeing what types of history are on display. It's me. I'm the history. Once we make it to Alpha Team, who fortunately already have a grave dug for them, we search around but aren't able to find the resonator. What we are able to find is bullets. It's just a shame they seem to be travelling towards me at about 1,000 miles per hour. Get off the car! On the plus side, this turret gunner appears to have the same spatial awareness as the remains of Alpha Team, so we had absolutely no problem just making our way behind them and taking them. No! After clearing our way past the turret gunner, we find ourselves in a courtyard, which is where we're introduced to E-holes, which are full of demons and ruin my day. Quite like the K-holes I find myself in on a regular basis. These E-holes allow for Locust enemies to spawn, but can easily be closed by throwing a frag grenade into them. The only issue is, a grenade is not a pistol. This means that instead of easily closing the E-hole, I need to kill every single enemy. Well, I say I need to. I sit in a corner and take out enemies as they get close, whilst Dom, Kim and Carmine sort out every other enemy for me. Which, although it sounds easy, was a massive pain in the ass, because the AI in this game are utterly and entirely useless. And speaking of my entirely useless team, after we've battled our way out of the courtyard, we get into a building where my entire team proceeds to die. Right, here we go. No ammo and a dream, baby. There's a Locust down there watching Carmine. I have no idea where Kim is. Dom's probably up top on his own. So what can I do here? I don't think they bleed out. I think I can just wait this out. If I have to. I can just sit here. Right. I can get Dom. Nice. And Kim. Nice. And back into cover. They killed one. Nice. Here we go. 2v2. I did it. Let's go. What do you mean locust reinforcements? I have no ammo. Swiftly moving on from what can only be described as the biggest clutch in my gameplay history, we get to the House of Sovereigns, where we're introduced to the Locust Grenadier. As the name would suggest, these enemies are blessed with the ability to throw explosive balls at you. The explosives, however, are the least of our worries, as they're also blessed with the Gnasher, a shotgun that has the ability to do just as much damage as a grenade. Where? Oh, damn it, man. It wasn't easy, but with some sacrifices to the team that I was 100% willing to make for my own gain, and the fact that some enemies had made an oath to become pacifists, we make it through the entire battle without losing a single squad member. Not even to a headshot from a sniper. No! You know what? That's fine. After Carmine is forcefully removed from Delta Squad, we instantly replace him with Augustus Cole. Cole is a member of Alpha Team, who lets us know that Cedars have been blocking the radio waves, so we're not able to communicate with the rest of Alpha Team at the tomb. Taking these Cedars out requires the Hammer of Dawn, but before you get all upset and are all like, oh my god, I cannot believe you've done this. You finished this game only 6 months ago, meaning you were fully aware from the start that completing it using only a pistol was completely impossible. Yet, despite knowing this, you still went ahead and made the misleading video anyway. This is the very definition of clickbait. And honestly, I don't even know what the point of it was. All you've done is waste my time. Time I'll never get back. And frankly, you've wasted your own time too. I genuinely don't understand why you do this. Let me stop you right there and tell you that I do not care. We continue on our way through the House of Sovereign, taking out a number of mandatory Cedars, using the Hammer of Dawn, and getting absolutely decimated in the process. What happened? And eventually, we make it to a balcony overlooking the tomb where we can find Alpha Team. Obviously, as these turrets are not required to complete the chapter, and we can just wait for our team to take out the enemies, we didn't use them. This is what we did instead. Oh yeah. Right. Once the Locusts had been cleared off the streets, we're introduced to the rest of Alpha Team, including Damon Baird. And it's quite a good thing, too. Got quite the underbite, isn't he? With Kim having a sword rammed through his torso, no, I'm not sorry, we retreat back into the tomb and are introduced to a Berserker. With no sense of sight, the Berserker relies on its sense of smell and hearing to attack its enemies. And given that Dom doesn't shut the fuck up, he instantly gets smashed. Speaking of smashed, make sure you smash that subscribe button and ring the bell. Oh, kill me. Once we've taken out the Berserker, we've successfully collected the Resonator and have now moved on to Act 2. With the enemies nearby, we're not able to get a helicopter to transport the Resonator, so our goal for this act is to find an armoured vehicle to move the Resonator from here to the entrance of the Locust tunnels. After making our way through some destroyed buildings and being introduced to some not-so-friendly boomers, but let's be honest, which boomers are friendly, we find ourselves in a courtyard, where we introduced the Wheel. Welcome to the Wheel! Having only met a sad and traumatic demise a total of 29 times so far, I made the decision to make this experience 100 times worse by using a wheel to decide if I would actually attempt to complete the challenge, or rush in and, as you can imagine, die. Whilst it took a lot of attempts, mainly because the odds were massively stacked against me, we finally take out all of the enemies and get through to... No! Once we've made it through the courtyard, we cross a bridge protected by an E-hole and a turret and make our way through what I can only describe as modern-day England. Coming out of the great city of Luton, we now need to cross the bridge again, but before we can do that, we need to take out 3 enemies. I have no bullets! Right, Dom's going to have to pull his weight right now. Oh, there's no ammo in the hut. Oh, I am so dead right now. Boom, 1 down. Dom, I need you to kill the last one. Please, that's all I ask. You have 1 job. Don't kill it! This is the play. I've got it, right? So, every time they go to reload and they're relatively close to me, I go in, I smack them over the head with a pistol. Then, I run away. Yeah, hear me out. I know it doesn't sound great, but I think it's a fantastic plan. With the enemies defeated, we cross the river and are introduced to the Krill. The krill are enemies that emerge during the night and not only kill me... Oh, right, okay, yeah, I need to destroy the barrel. That is an important part to surviving. But kill anything that wanders into the dark. Did Dom die? Whilst we did pick up a few deaths throughout the krill section, only 1 or 2 of these were actually to the krill, and the vast majority came from being filled with holes or blunt force trauma after being smashed over the head with a firearm. And it was one particular area that I had the most trouble with. That's not ammo, that's a turret! You see, whilst Delta Team are absolutely horrendous, they do deal some damage, and even if they don't do that, they normally at least take back shots for me while I take out some enemies. But not here. This was awful. For some reason, Dom thought it'd be a fantastic idea to just sit in this building and watch me get absolutely decimated over and over and over and over again. After a lot of deaths, we finally managed to clear out the enemies and get to the gas station, where we not only find the armoured car we're looking for, but we discover the dangers of using firearms near gas pumps.
Yeah, dumbass. Hide behind the gas pump. Good idea.
Hey, old man, what the hell? Okay, so it turns out the gas pump doesn't actually make much of a difference there. After taking out an entire firing squad, a boomer, and then even more locust, we get the vehicle which we need to transport the resonator, and now just need to make it back to Manchester as we get chased by hordes of krill. Which begs the question, is light a weapon? And the answer to that is no.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much.
I have no ammo. Again? Why do I do this to myself, man? Right, there's got to be ammo around here, surely. Yes. Right. Not my problem. That's entirely not my problem. But if I just shoot as little as possible and just maintain ammo, all of this will resolve itself. There we go. Checkpoint. Haven't shot a bullet. Absolutely brilliant at this game. I'm fantastic. Huh, okay, let's not peek. Peeking is very clearly a bad... Woo! It's my frag. We're fine. There we go. Are we done? Are we not done? Jesus Christ, I don't have the ammo for another round. Oh! No! Oh, that's a lot of boomers. Holy Christ almighty. There's nothing I can do here. This is completely on my team. I have 3 bullets. Wait, where did Dom go? Dom, get out here. Ammo! Woo! Let's go, baby. With Rotherham looking better than ever, we load the resonator into the armoured vehicle and get into Act 3. To start off Act 3, we travel to an emulsion factory to try and gain access to the Locust tunnels and use the resonator. Fortunately for me, most of the enemies at the beginning of this act are only wretches, so they have relatively low health. Unfortunately for me, these ones have been exposed to the emulsion and are a bit more volatile than normal. We continue on our way through the emulsion factory and don't pick up any more deaths, which is more than I can say for some other people. Yeah, okay, oh. He okay? He is not okay. We're reunited with Cole and Baird and find a way down into the Locust tunnels. As you can imagine, the tunnels and essentially an entire civilization of an evil underground species are overrun with Locust enemies, which provides some difficulties for 4 people trying to commit what is essentially genocide. Well, I say 4 people. 1 person and a trifecta of morons which leave me to take on an entire army on my own. Okay, nice. Dom.
Form up! Regroup!
Right, good job. No, wait, where are you going? Come back here. Dom, where are you going? Oh my Christ, this game, man. Despite Dom being less present than my Twitch viewers, speaking of drop me a follow, we make our way through the underground tunnels until we make it to the pumping station, also known as your mum's house. At the pumping station, we're ambushed by a load of enemies and a new type of enemy, the Theron Guard. Equipped with more armour, a torque bow, and a face that only a blind mother could love, a single shot from these enemies will very quickly remove your limbs from your body, which, as you could expect, results in death. I am dead. Okay, fair play. Whilst this area has the potential to ruin your day more than this game has ruined my arsehole, we fortunately didn't have too much trouble. By staying in cover and letting the enemies come to me, we were able to pick most of them off one by one until we had cleared them all out. Once we make it through the pumping station, we're finally able to deploy the resonator and escape the tunnels with an entire map of the Locust base.
It didn't work.
Unfortunately, it appears the resonator we had wasn't powerful enough and hasn't mapped all of the tunnels. On the plus side, Baird is an absolute hacker man and has found a file containing more data on the Locust tunnels, which can be traced back to our new objective, the Phoenix Estate. And boy, this is just awful. We've completed 3 acts so far and have an average of 34 deaths an act. And let me tell you, contrary to Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes' beliefs, white men can jump in deaths whilst playing a game that has no meaningful effect on my life besides deteriorating my mental health. To start off Act 4, we battle our way through a courtyard and some apartment buildings until we get ambushed by a horde of enemies. Whilst the battle against the normal enemies didn't cause us too much of a problem, we were then attacked by 2 boomers. With no ammo to my name, there was only one thing I could do to stop the boomers from killing me, and that was revisiting my youth and beating the 2 boomers off. Unable to say anything more due to the NDA I signed, we make our way into a greenhouse where we meet a familiar face. Once again, we're forced to use the Hammer of Dawn to harness the power of the sun or something and absolutely obliterate the Berserker. But once he's out of the way, we get to a courtyard where we're instantly pinned down by a group of wretches and a turret, which did a lot of damage. But that's okay, because I had a plan. Odds on literally just rushing towards the Troika. Not a good idea, turns out. Who'd have thought? But that's okay, because I had a second plan. What about a different route to the Troika? No! So I've ran out of plans. It took some time, but we finally get a consistent method of at least getting to the turret by going around the right-hand side, which seems to have slightly more cover. But even when we get there, the enemies are in cover and have the high ground, so we just get absolutely rinsed. After even more time, we finally manage to clear this area and make some progress as we move towards the Phoenix Estate. That is until we come to this section of enemies. It was at this section that we had the single most deaths that we had in one area.
Single most deaths that you have had in one area
So far.
Whilst this section doesn't seem too bad on the face of it, given the game is nice enough to give you a height advantage over the enemy, it was at this point I discovered what makes an area easier or harder for me to complete. And that was open space. Sure, there was plenty of cover in this area for me to use, but it would only cover me from one side and I could easily be taken up the behind. On top of the problem with open space, we're also faced up against a Grenadier and 2 Theron guards, on top of 2 regular Hammerburst Locust. So my chances of doing this with a whole 11 bullets to my name are lower than the chances of West Ham winning the league this season. After a few tries, we get this attempt where we manage to take out the enemies in the first part of the area and move through to the grave. No, I almost had him! God damn it! After even more tries, we managed to get to the exact same location, and this time, Dom isn't prone on the floor ready to receive Locust and actually helps us. So we get to the next checkpoint, which, unknown to me at the time, was going to be one of the worst single battles of the game. Why are you there? I'm dead. If I go for him, I die. We do this on our own. Oh, there's no chance. I've got no ammo. I'm dead, man. Dom, can you just stop running into a turret? That's all I ask, my dude. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I am fuming. It's just fine. It's fine, guys. Does Dom shoot Play-Doh? What do you mean he's not taken enough damage? That is fine. It took a lot of time, but we finally managed to get through this section with a total of 196 deaths. Meaning a quarter of the deaths we had got throughout this entire playthrough have occurred within the past 2 checkpoints. And it's safe to say I was skeptical over whether or not we could complete this. We've now finally made it to the Phoenix Estate, and this part of the act really reminds me of that one Harry Potter film, because this Phoenix is about to get clapped. You see, before we even get to the main building, we have to make our way up the courtyard stairs, which is guarded by Lancers, Theron guards, Grenadiers, and Boomers, and I'm not sure if you're counting, but 3 of those 4 enemies have the ability to separate your body from your soul with one shot of their weapon, which are extremely bad odds to be on the opposing side of. In the end, it took a very reasonable 12 attempts to take out all of the enemies and make it to the house. Thinking about it, 12 attempts is actually quite a lot, and I think I've just become desensitized to it because of this absolutely absurd challenge. Once we make it to the house, we had quite an easy time initially, making our way past the E-hole and then the enemies on the second floor without too much trouble. And then we started to make our way into the cellars, which is where we run into the reoccurring problem of this game's AI being coded by an intoxicated child with a vendetta against anyone who wishes to play the game. Unfortunately, this whole section was left for me to complete alone, as Dom thought it'd be a great idea to just stand here. I even destroyed every piece of furniture in the house, so there was nothing for him to get stuck on. But that didn't stop him from not coming to help me. In the end, we died in the corridor, and apparently there's no checkpoint between here and when you enter the house, so we have to take out every enemy again, which I found a lot more challenging the following times, and found out the E in E-hole must stand for enema, because these guys were doing disgusting things to my asshole. I'm going to lose my mind. After we've made our way past these enemies, we make it to the cellar where we locate the files on the Locust tunnels which riddle the planet's crust. With these files downloaded, we now have all the data required to deliver the light mass bomb and take out the Locust once and for all. With the data collected, all we need to do is escape from the building, which will complete the act. We make our way back upstairs where we take out the invading Locust and move to the back of the house where we have to take out 2 boomers. This starts a timer for us to then take out more enemies and get to our escape vehicle. With only a limited amount of time and our weapon doing very little damage, this could potentially be one of the hardest fights the game has to offer us. If it didn't allow us to just run past both the boomers before the timer started and end the section once you got to the car. I'm fucking built different. Come on! Let's go! Yes! With the data collected and Marcus's daddy issues resolved, we get into Act 5, the final act of the game. And fortunately for me, the shortest act of the game. Or at least it would be, if I played the original game. You see, because I'm playing on the Ultimate Edition of the game, I have 5 additional chapters to complete, in addition to the 3 included in the original game. These 5 chapters, according to IGN, should be a nice 90 minutes of gameplay added to your campaign. I, however, can attest that this means 90 minutes per battle, and about 5 additional chapters of wanting to turn the light mass bomb around and destroy my own house with it. Our goal for this act is to make our way to Timgad train station, secure the light mass bomb, and take out the Locust. But, as I'm sure you're aware by this point, this is a lot easier said than done. The first problems we have in this act are with turrets, which I'm sure comes as no surprise, as I've had nothing but issues with turrets since the challenge started. The issue with the first area is that there's no possible way to get a good angle on the turret gunner without them being able to see you. This means that not only are a majority of the bullets blocked, if you run out of ammo, there's not really much you can do besides sacrifice yourself in order to get another chance. Or at least, that's what I thought was the case for a good 20 minutes. What I found out is that if you backtrack far enough, you can break down this door and go through a different pathway to take on the turret gunner, where I also die. But that's not the point. The point is we found a way to kill the guy. A few attempts later and the gunner's down and we can make our way to turret number 2. Whilst this turret's a bit more open, there are a lot more enemies surrounding it that I need to take out before I can do anything else. In all honesty, there was absolutely no skill or strategy involved in this section. This was purely a test of how many times can I smash my head against a brick wall in order to get the outcome I wanted. And the answer to that was 11. However, whilst these 2 turrets caused us some problems, nothing in the challenge so far could have prepared me for the trouble that we're going to have in the next battle. This courtyard put us up against what felt like 40 to 50 enemies in an open space with multiple routes that enemies can attack us through, with only the ammo I had in my weapon. And where was Dom, I hear you ask? Okay, he's apparently engaging. Okay, I know 20 deaths doesn't sound too bad, but just please believe me when I say that this was an absolutely horrible experience and a terrible use of an hour of my life. With the courtyard cleared, we get informed that we need to make our way to Timgad Power Station and restore the power. But on the way there, we find ourselves in a car park taking on a group of Locust. Whilst the Locust did cause us some problems, and we picked up quite a few deaths here, they're not the key point of conversation. Once we'd taken out the Locust, there's once again a Cedar that we need to kill before we can progress. But this time, we don't have access to the Hammer of Dawn, and instead are forced to use a turret to kill it. I tried everything I could to defeat this without the turret. I used every single bullet of my pistol, picked up various ammo packs to give it my best attempt. I even tried other weapons to see if it was possible for us to blow up this truck with a Lancer, but that wasn't able to do it either. In the end, I had no choice but to use the turret to take down the Cedar. With that out of the way, we make our way to the power station, battle our way through boomers, Theron guards and other Locust enforcement until we have to take on a Brumac, an enemy which has been terrorising us since the start of the act, the biggest boss battle of the game so far, and the enemy which has the potential to do the most damage. Picking up an early death, I didn't think it was even possible to deal damage to the Brumac. How on earth was I going to be able to kill it? It takes me 6 bullets to take down a normal enemy. Is there even enough ammo for me to bring this thing down? This is without a doubt the toughest battle we've been in so far.
I'm just better. I am the amazing at this game.
With the Brumac defeated and power restored, we make our way to Timgad train station and board the train, leading to the final stretch of the game. In the great words of Bonnie Blue, all that stands between us and completing this challenge is this train. This train journey aims to put you up against every threat that you've faced thus far, and is without a doubt the toughest non-boss section of the game. Starting off, we make our way through the first couple of carriages worth of enemies, picking them off one by one with no trouble whatsoever. We're ambushed from behind by a Berserker, but they're no match for Marcus Phoenix and his
rock-hard brain.
We continue through the train carriages, making mincemeat out of every enemy that comes in our way, till eventually we reach a section where we have to take out Reavers. I tried everything I could, shooting the Reaver itself, shooting the enemy in control, but even with perfect accuracy, it took 6 shots to take down a Reaver, and with 11 of them spawning, it wasn't physically possible for me to hold 66 bullets. In the end, we had to resort to using the turret to take down the Reavers, but this didn't make things easy. Standing on that turret made me a clear target, and they made sure I knew about it, but after some time we'd taken them down and continue moving forward. On the next carriage, we're attacked by lambent wretches who are more than willing to blow themselves up to prevent my cause. But the only thing they're preventing is the possibility of their bloodline living to see another day, as I absolutely butcher through them. And with all of the wretches behind us, we pick up as much ammo as possible and make our way into the final battle against General Rahm. General Rahm is surrounded by a shield of krill, meaning we have to get rid of them before we can do any damage. But how do you get rid of the krill, I hear you ask? Well, explosives. But with no explosives to my name, we had only one choice: to wait until he throws the krill at us before we try and deal damage. We tried our best to deal damage, but with each passing second, Rahm pushed towards us, and the closer he was, the less time the krill were away from him when attacking. Our only option when he got too close was to make a run for it, but that left us open to attacks from not only him, but also the Reavers and the rogue krill, quickly bringing attempt after attempt to an end. After each passing death, I questioned whether this would even be possible. Most attempts felt like I wasn't even dealing any damage, Rahm shrugging off Boltok shots as if they're fucking Orbeez. And with Dom finally letting us know his full name, of Dominic Santiago go into the middle of nowhere and get absolutely fucking obliterated, I could feel my frustrations rising and rising, and I decided that today was not the day. Coming back the next day with a fresh mindset and the same stupid teammate, we continue sinking hours upon hours of death into Rahm, feeding his kill-death ratio. With no idea of Rahm's health, I can only hope I came close, looping him around different areas of the train, but in the end, each attempt ended the same way. He was running the train on me. Finally, I made the decision that this was not possible with just a pistol. We had to think of a way to get the krill away from Rahm, so we could actually deal damage. We had to use frags. With the 4 frags we had in our inventory, I vowed to only use these to remove the krill and not actually do damage. But much like 40 to 50% of marriages, these vows meant nothing, as even with them clearing the krill, I was getting nowhere. I had to take more drastic measures. I had to use the frags to deal damage, and hell, I had to try and use everything available to us to take Rahm down. But in the end, nothing could get the job done, and I decided, after 158 attempts against Rahm, that completing insane difficulty with only a pistol was just not possible. At least, not alone. Hello? Hello? Okay, so it turns out I have no friends. But who needs friends when you have family? With my brother being bribed into helping me with the promise of, well, nothing, we returned to the original rules of the challenge. Nothing but either the Snub Pistol or the Boltok Pistol. With the ability to now be revived when I'm downed, each attempt has the ability to be the one. All we need is one person to be alive, and we will always have a chance. But it felt like these chances meant nothing. Even with the added firepower, Ram was still destroying us. But it was nice to know that I wasn't going through this alone. Just like Marcus has a brother in arms, I have my brother here with me, and he was going through the same pain and having the same frustrations as me. We'd spent so much time and come so far, but in the end, it didn't even matter. Ram, the Reavers, and the Krill, they were just too much. That was until attempt 531.
Oh, I'm down. Ignore me. Play yourself. Fuck it, we got him! Let's go!
After 189 total attempts, a total of 5 hours and 16 minutes, we had defeated General Ram. We see the light mass bomb go off, the Locust dying, and finally, the rolling of the credits. We had completed Gears of War's hardest difficulty using only a pistol. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.